Hi friend, David here from Learn Stage Lighting, and in this video we're looking a little closer at this guy, the Martin Mac 1, and the backlight effects that you can make with it. Let's dive in. So the Martin Mac 1, as we discussed, as we already reviewed, is a really cool, really small, compact, well-built fixture that comes at a price that really doesn't have to scare you. Like it's quite a nice deal that they offer on this thing. I think it's just a really good value if it's the kind of fixture that's right for you. One of the things that it really excels at is mid-air beam effects. Now, we did our last video kind of focusing in on using it as a front light and how it can work really well at certain distances and for certain small gigs. And in this video, we're going to focus on backlight. So let's talk about first what we're looking at here in the studio so that you can understand how this compares to a real world stage. First thing is we've got a softbox white LED fixture that pushes about 40 to 50 foot candles onto this area of the stage. Okay, so it's a pretty good amount of light, including kind of all over this area, which makes the beam in the haze just a little bit less defined. Okay, so it's like a normal stage light, probably a little more washed than a lot of concert type events. Okay, next we've got some other fixtures around. You know, we've got ourselves the Megalite light pipes, these guys all over here. We've got our Dominar X, which is a 250 watt beam fixture. The Volux Spectra 300, which is a 300 watt spot moving head. We've got our DVS Visra 2 wall here, and you see this camera on autofocus is moyaring like crazy, but we get a good view of the beam here. And then we have Gamma Pixel strip IPs and another Megalite light pipe here. All that to say, like, this is not your typical dark room demo that the manufacturers do where you're like, oh man, this light looks amazing because it's super dark, because that's not actually that useful in the real world. So here's what we're looking at. First thing we've got is we've got just a basic animation going here on the lens with the lens LEDs at full. Now, you get 24 lens LEDs, they're in a circle, and you see you can run really cool chases on it. There's also a lot of great macros built in, or you can just run it through a pixel mapper, and then it kind of creates more organic looking stuff. Let's take a little bit closer look at that. The lens itself, like the Mac Aura and other fixtures that are similar, is going to be really affected by the zoom, right? At different zoom lengths, it's going to look different. So just taking a look here, if we go all the way narrow, okay, you'll see it starts to change a little bit. It really fills in pretty much all the way to the center. Now, we don't have the optional soft focus filter on because we're talking about backlight effects, and it really kind of fills the whole light, kind of evens it out, okay? Then, if we go all the way to the wide side where we were, you get a little bit more of a hole in the center that looks a little bit different. There's so much cool stuff you can do with this. Like if we just go and grab, I believe it's this zone here, out of my pixel map, back into my pixel map. Cool. So you can run really cool pixel maps, and as you can see, like here, I've got the pixel map and it's also turning on the front lens. And so you can probably see, I'll cycle through a couple pixel maps here. You get between the front output and the beam itself, and this is at Y, you're still really able to see those beam effects and those animations happen, even when there's output coming from the light. And it could be really cool actually if we pull it out of pixel map here. Go ahead and do that. If we take it, for example, we have it in this magenta and blue, and we go ahead and we grab the output LED, okay, and we kick that on. There it is at white. Now let's do something that's very opposite. So let's do green, okay? So we're doing like a blue to magenta chase on the lens itself, and we're doing a green output at full. And you can see, one, how bright and punchy this is, especially compared to these other fixtures that we previously noted over here, okay? And two, how even with the light on, and it blows out a little on camera, but to the eye, you can still see and be able to see what those backlight LEDs are doing. And so it's really great that you're able to still see it even with full output. Let's actually go to narrow here. And yeah, I can still see the lens LEDs. Is it as vibrant? as if I turn this off. It actually is. It's just not quite as much of a contrast, right? Because obviously if you have this on, you know, there's light coming out of it, but the really kind of neat thing about it is that the Fresnel lens really doesn't catch a lot of the light that's coming out of it. It really only catches those backlight LEDs. The amount of light from the source that you see even at different angles is not a lot. And so that means that however you're deploying this, you can get these awesome haze-filled beam effects, including the built-in chases, which are really epic and fast. But you're also able to go narrow, to go wide, and still always be able to see everything happening in the back of the fixture. And so I think that's really cool. I think that's where the Mach 1 really shines, is you've got a dual-purpose fixture with effects, really tri-purpose. So, you know, effects on the backlight, output coming from it, and then you can use it as a front light fixture too. But in terms of backlight, it's kind of got dual purposes, and the fact that at all zoom angles and all levels of intensity, you can see both. You can go and you can turn off, of course, the backlights and just have a fixture, okay? And then the lens glows a little more. But you're really able to have all three. And I think that's what makes it really valuable. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do when you really start playing with pixel maps, and throughout this video, I'm sure JP, our awesome editor, will throw in some of our B-roll that we shot, and you can see some of the cool effects that it makes. But if you're looking for Mach 1s, hey, if you like this video and you learned something from it about this fixture, then the only place to buy it is at Learn Stage Lighting Gear by Above AVL. So head over to LearnStageLightingGear.com. Our Above AVL team will help answer any questions you have, and we'll help you get your personalized price on these lights. We want to help you get the things you need for your stage, and I think this one's kind of unique because it really stacks up pretty good to larger wash fixtures. It's really punchy, especially when it's narrow, and on even mid-sized stages it can cut through and do a lot, and it's not an overly expensive fixture. It actually can be often is very comparable to a fixture that's a very popular pancake wash type light that's out there, and you know, it's a well-engineered fixture. It does a lot, and I think you get some bonuses in there, plus the fact that it's so small, so light. There's so many different ways to hang it, put them in grids, etc. I think this is a really versatile tool if you like to rearrange your stages and get a lot of different things out of them. You really should look at this. And it can also light, you can also use it to like light surfaces, like as a typical wash light. So we really like the Mach 1. I hope you do too, and I hope you've enjoyed this part of our review so that you can find out if it's right for you. If it's not, hey, we'll help you find the right thing. Head over to Learn Stage Lighting Gear, and our team will help you find everything you need for audio, video, and lighting so we can make your events amazing. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.